In a recent article, Time magazine put down pop music, and they referred to Day Tripper as being about a prostitute, and Norwegian Wood as being about a lesbian. Now, I just wanted to know what your intent was when you wrote it, and what your feeling is about the Time magazine criticism of the music that is being written today.
We were just trying to write songs about prostitutes and lesbians, that's all.
The Beatles are in need of a new single, and as with business or cultivating a large audience, consistency is key. But that can be quite alarming if your product is based off of half musical knowledge, half who knows where inspiration comes from. Imagine being asked, hey dude, can you write a song so that we can all make money? And you have to go pick up a guitar and write something that doesn't suck in a short amount of time? Under immense pressure from the record studio, Paul and John write Day Tripper. Lennon claims that the song was mostly his doing, saying that it was a transformed version of a folk song he had written months prior, and he rewired it to fit the needs of a single. But in the spirit of collaboration, Paul says they both put a ton of work into it, but gives the main writing credit to John. A Day Tripper in the mid-60s was a tongue-in-cheek phrase meant to poke fun at fair weather hippies. Another kind of girl who thought she was all that type of song, but with a psychedelic twist. It's kind of like Marvel's Blade. He's a daywalker because he can walk in the day and still kill vampires. But instead of Blade, it's a girl, and instead of vampires, it's drugs. It's a terrible analogy. Paul says the drug acid was just coming onto the scene, and there were all these kind of, I guess we call them posers these days, but there was all these kind of wannabe hippies. Paul jokingly says, they were just day trippers, you know, Sunday drivers, somebody who was committed to part of the idea, whereas we thought of ourselves as full-time trippers, fully committed drivers. She was just a day tripper. Now, the hippie movement wasn't solely about drugs, of course. There were a lot of things that drove people to that kind of membership, but drugs certainly seem to be at least a small part of it. Finally, She's a Big Teaser wasn't the original lyric. The Beatles knew they wouldn't get away with it, but the original lyric was, she's a prick teaser. A prick teaser. She's a prick teaser. She took me half the way there now. I get it. I get that. I get it. Prick. Half the way there. Not fully the way there. She's a prick teaser. She took me half the way there. It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not gonna lie, it makes sense.